Hello everyone, welcome back on the series on DSP processor. In this lecture, we will learn how do we use and how do we initialize the interrupt in our source code. So one thing we need to recall that we need to recall the architecture of DSP processor and general purpose input output pins for the because we will connect some uh, peripherals to the our DSP processor for the for some kind of applications like a LED counter, and we need to know about the interrupt, some basic of the interrupts, and the CPU timer. So these things we need to know about before going to the applications of the interrupt. So in this example, we are going to cover the LED counter with and without help of the interrupts. First we will see the without help of the interrupt, how the source code looks like, and we will explain each and every part of the source code, and further we will modify the our source code by including by initializing some interrupts and some function to our existing code. So what thing we need to initialize to our source code? So we need to initialize our code. So in the code, what thing we need to initialize? We need to initialize the watchdog time control. Why watchdog time control is required? Because it provides the security to uh, uh, our source code. Let's take an example. If you are making any application and you want the security to your application, so you must need to include and you must need to initialize the watchdog time control registers to your code. It provides the security features to your code. Okay, so next we need to initialize the PLL control registers. The PLL control registers will provide the frequency to your code. It drive the code. Let's take an example. If your code have drive at 150 megahertz, so this PLL control register will provide the 150 megahertz to your code. And after that we need some high speed clock prescaler. As we know, the high speed clock prescaler will drive the ADC, and the low speed clock prescaler will drive the other peripherals connected to your core of the DSP processor or CPU of your DSP processor. Other than that, we need the peripheral clock controller like a CPU timer we required, and you need system control and status registers for your applications. So other than this code initialization, we are going to connect some LEDs to your DSP board, some external connection we are going to make. So how do we connect these external connections throughout the GPIO pins? So for the GPIO pins are connected to your DSP core with the help of some internal registers. So how do we use the internal registers of the LED of their DSP processor? We can access the internal register using the multiplex register like GP mux 1 or 2, GPB mux 1 and 2, and the directions of the registers, like suppose you want to use that GPIO pin as an input and how you want to use that as output. So depending upon the directions of the GPIO direction of the GPIO pin, you can access the registers as an input and out GPIO pin as an input and output. And you need if you are driving the LED counter, so sometimes you need one and sometimes your LED should blink and sometimes your LED should be 0. So the data set register or clear register provide you the output as a 1 and 0 in the form of voltage 3.3 volt and 0 volt respectively. So while initializing all the code, initializing and some multiplex and GPIO registers, we can do all the programming. So first we will look at the source code without help of interrupts. So how do we provide what thing we need if we are using the without interrupt? So we need GPIO registers, system control registers, and watchdog timer. Okay, so in this application, what we are going to do, we are going to provide the delay to the LED counter of 100 millisecond. So here we are not using any interrupts. So how do we provide the delay? We are using the software delay. We will write a code like a for loop or something, and we will provide the delay in the software itself. Okay, we are not using any any hardware delay loop, any hardware delay. We are going to use only software delay. So in this example, we are what we are going to do, we are blink the LED in the form of 0001, 0011, 0111, and 1111. So like this, and it will be repeating. So the sequence will be 0, the LSB will be 0, a 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1, and again it will be repeating. Okay, so now we'll start with our source code. So as you can see here that it has the hexa include dsp2833x underscore device.h. So this is the library. In your C code also you have seen that first we need to initialize our library, library of the DSP, library of your DSP processor, and next we have to use some basic functions. So how do we need these basic functions? As you have seen that void GPIO, void init system, void delay underscore loop. So we will see in the detail how these functions looks like. So first we will see the void init systems, void. How do we use this? Okay, so the function definition will be here. How can we write? We have to write like void initialization of system void. So this is the process we need to follow. Or after in this function we need to start the definition of this source of this initialization of system. So initialization of system include the watchdog control register, your PLL status register, like you want to use a frequency for the code. So how you derive the frequency from the crystal oscillator. Okay, so here you can see we have used eallow and edisables. So what is the function of eallow and edisable? So eallow and edisable are the macros in the C. Eallow will allow your protected registers, and it will enable the path to use the protected registers from your code, and edisable will disable that path. So as we know that we are initializing the code registers, so all the code registers are the protected registers. So before initializing that we need to allow the path to use that code registers, and after using all the code registers we will disable the path. So how do we use this? We will use this eallow and edisable command to use that path to the code. So after using eallow, what we are going to do, first we will use see the watchdog control register, watchdog CR. So as we know that this is our watchdog control register bit. Okay, so it is a 16 bit where 8 to 15 bit are reserved, and we need to initialize total 8 bit. So first I'm not going to use the watchdog counter register. First I'll disable it. So for the disabling I'm just writing 0x0028. So how do we use it? Just you make it a binary form. So it will be 00000000 and 842. So 0010 and 8100. So like this one you can initialize, and you can check that watchdog disable bit is 0. So by using this one you can enable or disable the watchdog timer. So right now I am disable, I'm not using the watchdog counter, I'm not providing the security to our program. Okay, so next is now we are using the PLL status register by division dot bit dot division selection equals to 2. Okay, you can see here the input clock of the PLL status register is 30 megahertz. Let's suppose the crystal frequency is 30 megahertz. This frequency is 30 megahertz. It will comes here, and the frequency is 30 megahertz. So we need to initialize two registers: system control register dot PLLCR dot bit dot division, and another registers to provide the clock of the code of the DSP processor. So how do we do that? This is our 30 megahertz frequency. First what we are going to do, we are just dividing it by first we are going to multiply 10, so we will get 300. Later we are going to divide it by 2, so we will get 150 megahertz frequency to our code of the DSP processor. And further you can see here we have two system control register is high speed clock prescaler and low speed clock prescaler. So high speed clock prescaler will be at given to the ADC, and the any other peripheral is clocked by the system clock output. Okay, this is by default is, if you are not using that, by default that will be 2. And one more thing we need to notice here, that we have used that uh, other peripheral clock. So here we are using GPIO pins to connect the LED. So we have to use the GPIO enable. We need to enable the GPIO pins using the PCL clock CR3 bit, that GPIO enable the clock equals to 1. So enable the GPIO clock bit in register PCL clock CR3 and disable all other peripheral clock unit in the registers. Okay, so this is the initialization of our system control registers. Next we will see that how do we use the GPIO pins. So we want to use that GPIO pins 0, 1, 34 and 35 for this applications. So before going into detail, we just recall how the GPIO pins are connected, how the architecture of the GPIO pins will be looks like. So as we already discussed that GPIO pins, it has a 3 port, port A, port B and port C. Port A, port B and port C, and all are connected to through the internal bus, and all are 32. Port A will be 32 bit, port 2 will be 32 bit, and the remaining total we have 88 GPIO pins, and remaining pins will be connected to our port C. So we want to use, in this example we want to use 0, 1, 34 and 35. So 0 and 1 is connected to MUX 1 of port A, and 34 and 35 are connected to port B of MUX 1. Okay, so how so we first we will explain this one. All are the protected registers. So here also we have used the same thing. We just allow all the registers, and we just at the last we just disable all the registers after using this. So first what thing we need to do, we need to use the GPIO pins as a input output pins or as a EPWM pins. So first we need to initialize. So how do we initialize that? We need to use the GPA MUX1 dot all equals to 0. 0 means all pins, or in the MUX1 all pins will be as a GPIO pins. Like this one, we can initialize for all other ports. Okay, now we want to give the directions. So how do we give the directions? Because all the GPIO pins will connected to the LED LED, external LED. So all will be as a output pins. So what we'll do, we will use GPA directions dot all pins. All pins of A modules will be 0. 0 means all will be the input, and after initializing all pin to be input, what we are going to do, we are initializing pin number 0 and pin number 1 as the output pin. Okay, similarly for the B module, B port, we are initializing all pin as a input pin, and after initializing all pin as input, we are using 34 and 35 pin as a output pin. And in the C part we are not using anything, so we just give all as a input pin, and we just disable. After using all the pins, we just disable. Okay, so this is the process to initialize the GPIO pins. So this thing we can optimize, but we will see later how do we optimize this code. So it will be as you can see, it is a 11-12 lines code, and we will optimize to 2 or 3 lines code. We don't need to initialize all the codes in the every time. Okay, so we'll see this one is later. So this is our main code. After initializing all the definitions, now we comes to our main code. So our main code will include first we initialize the counter, because based on this counter our LED will blink, and we need to initialize system control registers, and we don't want to use any interrupts. So first we disable all the interrupts, and after that we just connect the GPIO pins to our system, and we will use the endless while loop because our LED counter should be endless. It should not stop anywhere. Okay, until unless the fault or some glitch in the program doesn't come, okay, or some external fault doesn't come to our system, until unless the loop will be continuous to operate. Okay, now we'll come to this explanation. What is the explanation? So our counter will be counting plus plus. Okay, so our counter is operated we just if counter end operation with 1, Okay, if this condition is true, what we are going to do, we are just going to set or clear. Set means we are making that pin, GPIO pin, as a 1, otherwise we are making that pin as a 0. Okay, if this condition is satisfied, so you just change these numbers, okay, from here, and you just make your own sequence. You can make like 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 0 0 1 0. You can make all the sequence what you want to do. Okay, now the main thing is we want to use the delay in our program of 100 millisecond. So how do we do that? Here we will use a delay loop of 100 millisecond. So it provides the 100 in microsecond. So if you are this will be 10 raised to the power 6 microsecond, so it will be 100 millisecond delay. So the definition of this delay loop will be we just using the delay, void delay loop, and long integer, long end, and we will use long I equals to 0 to I less than n or I plus plus. So long end is 10 raised to the power what we have defined here, 10 raised to the power 5. So here it will be 10 raised to the power 5, and the end will be 10 raised to the power 5, and it will this code will run until unless the I will become less than equals to 10 raised to the power 5. And first thing here, you can note that this loop will be up to the end, and every time it will be continuing in this loop. So in this code I don't use the watchdog key. If you are not using the watchdog key, if you are beginner to the DSP processor, first you don't use the watchdog key, okay, and just run the code. Your code will be running perfectly until unless your code don't have any glitch or any fault. Okay, after that, if your code is working fine, what you do, you just use the good key and valid key to your code. Just add this key to your code and just check whether it is working fine or not. So at the beginning I have told that I don't use any I disable the watchdog key. So in this code I don't use this watchdog counter here. But if you want to use the security, or this is the internal part, watchdog control register is the internal part of your system, so you must use the watchdog counter register in your program. So let's modify the source code and we will see before going to in the detail, before going to modify the source code, first we will look at the LED counter video. So we have used the sequence
You are recording?
like we have see in the at the starting, so we have used the same sequence.
You are recording?
Just check the sequence, how what is the sequence following and what is the time duration. You just adjust the time duration according what time duration you want. Okay, so you can adjust the time duration, how much time duration you want, by using the delay loop. Okay, now what we will do, we will use the watchdog timer in our main code. So where you need to modify, so you need to modify here you need to modify what thing you need to modify in the watchdog counter register. You need to modify 0x068. it means that you are going to enable your watchdog counter register. Now you have enabled the watchdog counter registers, and you don't use, if you didn't use the watchdog counter register in your main code, like in your main code somewhere else, if you didn't use the watchdog counter registers, so after a few milliseconds duration your code will not work. Okay, So what is the solution for this? You have initialized you have enabled the watchdog counter registers, and after certain millisecond durations the code will be interrupted and code will be reset to 0. Your entire output will be 0. So how can we remove this glitch from the program? You need to use a valid key sequence in your program somewhere else. So a good decision to use these two commands, 0x55 and 0xAA, in the delay loop, because after a certain after a certain delay the code this program will run, and every time when it comes to here, and it will, before overflow or your watchdog key, it will disable. uh, Before going to overflow, the watchdog key will be reset, so there will be no interruption in your code. So this is the basic idea. How do we use the watchdog counter registers on some programming? How do we start with some basics with the LED counter? Now we will see the use of interrupt in the LED counter examples. Okay, now the questions can come in your mind that you can think how the interrupt is useful in the LED counter, and what is the use of interrupt in the LED counter. So in the previous example, what we have seen that we have using the software delay loop, we have generated the time interval or delay between the output steps. Okay, so this is which is a poor use of processor time. So in this example, with the help of interrupt, what we are going to do, we are going to provide a timing delay between the output steps. So who will do that task? The task is done by the CPU timers. So one of the simplest tasks for the timer is to generate a periodic interrupt request. We can use its interrupt request or its interrupt service routine to perform a periodic activities, or we can use interrupt service routine to increment the global variable. Okay, so this variable will then contains the number of periods that are elapsed from the start of the program. So we have seen that DSP processor has a 3-core timer: timer 0, timer 1 and timer 2. So here we will use the timer 0. The reason is that timer 0 is using the peripheral interrupt expansion unit, and this gives an opportunity to exercise this unit as well. And whereas the timer 1 and 2 are they are not connected to PI unit, and they are bypassed the PI unit, and usually they are reserved for the Texas Instrument for the real-time applications. So this exercise we will do with the help of timer 0, and we will implement the code. Previous code, we will do some modifications in the previous code. So here I already written the code, and we just explain the steps, what modifications we have done. Okay, so in the previous code you have seen that previous code, after the initialization of counter, you just go back in the program, go back in the video and just see. So after the initialization of counter, what we have done, we have used the initialization of systems. Okay, so here what we'll do, we just remove this initialization of system, we just use the init system control. We will use the system controls. So this is the basic code initialization from the DSP system control.c. So there are some terminology we will use the prototype, the basic functions, and the definition for that functions. Okay, so this is the basic function, and the prototype for this initialization of system control is here. As you can see, this is a prototype, or prototype is written outside the main program. This is the main program, this is our prototype, and the definitions, we are just directly calling this initialization of system from the DSP2833. So before doing this one, we need to link some files to our project. So these system control registers will come from this link. This is the linking files which we are going to link in this project. This linking I'm not going to explain in this. How do we link? Um, how do we link the files to our project? Okay, in later we will talk in detail. My main aim, my main motto is to show you that how can we write the code and what is the useful use of the each and every line in the program, and what is the benefit of each and every line. We will explain in this code. Okay, so this is our main this is the initialization of systems, and this is our prototype. And one thing we have noted that if you are initializing the system control registers, this will disable the watchdog control registers. So to enable the watchdog control register, we need to follow these three lines: allow this watchdog control registers and this code to re-enable the watchdog timer. Okay, so again we just allow and we just disable after using this core register, protected core registers, and the same thing we just follow, disable all the interrupts, and we just select the GPIO select for the blinking to the LED counter. Now the thing is, we just initialize the PI control registers. So this is the basic setup for the PI control registers. For this one, this definition, this is the basic functions, and the prototype for this function is here, and the definitions we have taken from the DSP2833 PI control register.c. So this file also we need to include from the TI control suite. You just go to the control suite and see these files you will get there. So this is the initialization of PI control registers. After initialization of PI control registers, we need to initialization of PI vector table. So this is the PI vector table, and the address, this will be default ISR in PI. So this will be in default in this files, so we don't need to include the definition for this one. So and the prototype will be the external void initialization of PI vector table void. So if we are initializing the PI vector table, we need to include some files. So one file will be default isr.c. If you see this file in your TI Code Composer Studio or Control Suite, if you open this file and you see that, and you just open this file, and you will see in this file that it consists of endless for loop and a specific assembler instruction, that is e stop 0, that is e stop 0. If you are opening this file, it will consist of endless for loop and this expression. So this is behave like a software breakpoint. By doing this one, we are disabling all the PI interrupts. Now we have to remap timer interrupt. So there are two ways to remap the timer interrupt. One thing, we just modify the default ISR. Okay, the second thing, what can we do? We just go to the PI memory, and there we can modify. But this is also not in good practice, because we want to use this file further in the further program. Okay, so instead of doing this, what can we do? We just modify the CPU timer interrupt service inside the PI memory. We just go to the so how can we do that? We just write this code, and this can be done. Now initialize CPU timer inside main. So after using the after modifying the entry for the CPU timer interrupt service inside the PI memory, we need to initialize the CPU timer inside the PI. So how do we initialize? We just use the initialization of CPU timer, and the prototype for this initialization of CPU timer, as you can see, this is the prototype of the CPU timer. Now after initializing the CPU timer, we want, our main aim is to provide a delay or generate a period of 100 milliseconds. So DSP processor or Texas Instrument will provide a hardware extension function, that is hardware extension function, that is configure CPU timer. So this function has three features, three inputs parameters, or we have to pass the three statement through this function. What are these statements? First parameter is the address of the core timer. So we are using this timer 0, so this will be the address of the core timer. and the second will be the internal speed of the DSP. So we are using the DSP which speed is 150 megahertz. So 150 is the internal speed of the DSP in megahertz, and third one is the period time for overflow in microsecond. So this will be in the microsecond, so it is 100 millisecond. So this function will provide and will generate the period of 100 milliseconds. So this is the hardware extension function. With this function we can provide the delay, or we can generate the period of 100 milliseconds. So what is the prototype for this function? The prototype of this function will be this one, as you can see here. Okay, after that what we have to do, as we know that in the pi vector timer 0 interrupt will be in the timer 0 interrupt is connected to pi vector table interrupt x7. So this is the code, because we just enable pi IER 1 dot bit, that register will be 1. We just enable that one. So after that enable interrupt code line. We need to enable the interrupt code line by using this statement, and IER or operation with 1, and enable control interrupt and debug interrupt globally. We just enabling the control interrupt and just debugging interrupt globally. And finally we have to start the timer 0. So how do we start the timer 0? CPU timer 0 registers dot TCR timer control register dot bit. So this is the statement where TSS is the timer status stop bit. So by doing this we just start our timer. So now we need to use we have used as you can see here, we have used the CPU timer 0 underscore ISR. So we need to use the definition for this timer 0 ISR. So the definition, how do we write the definition for this one? The definition will be like interrupt await CPU timer 0 ISR. So here what we are going to do, we are going to increment the global variable CPU timer 0 dot interrupt C count plus plus. So this is the first increment in interrupt counter. Now the second thing what we have to do here, so acknowledge the interrupt service as the last line before return. So this step is necessary to re-enable the next timer 0 interrupt service. So how do we acknowledge the interrupt service? By using this line. So with the help of this line we just acknowledge the interrupt service. Okay, so this is our main program. Now we'll come to back to our program. Here you can see that this is the normal endless while loop, and in the endless while loop we have used the while CPU timer 0 dot interrupt count equal to 0. If this condition is true, it will come to this position, otherwise it will go to the interrupt service routine after every 100 milliseconds. Okay, and again after coming to this program, it will re-enable the next timer 0 interrupt service routine. Now one thing you forgot, that we at the starting we have re-enabled the watchdog timer, but in the code we don't use anything. So if you are not using, we just run the code. After a few milliseconds the code will be stops. The code won't work. So we need to use good key in somewhere in the code. So where do we use the good key and valid key? So one part of the good key we just use in the main program. Okay, so here, and the one part we can use in the service routine, interrupt service routine. So every time when it goes to a main program and come back to our CPU timer, so it will disable and it will disable the it won't disable, but it helps the watchdog motor control register to overflow, and it protect the system, and the code will successfully run. Okay, this is our experiment which we have done using the CPU timer, as you can see here. The same sequence we have used in this program, as you can see, with the help of CPU timer. So you can change the you can change the time duration with time interval by using this configure CPU timer. You just change the 1 millisecond to 1 second, or okay. So you do the experiment on this code. If you have any doubt, comment me on comment section, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.